break me off, perhaps you're gay. Is there a point to all these fancy clothes? With all these buckles from your head down to your toes? It's very simple, but I'm just another girl. It's not so easy, but I'm giving it a whirl. Is there something that you're trying to prove? With all the makeup and the way you move, are you looking for some sympathy? No, I'm trying to be the best girl I can be. It's very simple, but I'm just another girl. It's not so easy, but I'm giving it a whirl. Like my martinis dry, cosmos I won't deny. Smoke those long cigarettes. Thank God I'm not dead yet. Done all these crazy things, short of a wedding ring. Just another
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Calista Solon, and this is nlcTrans. Tonight, I'm here with my usual co-host, Tara Alexander, and we have a very special guest tonight, Rich Smalley, who was with the Stonewall Speakers. And I'm gonna ask you to sort of give us a brief idea of what it is that you guys do. I'd also like to talk some tonight, if we have time, about the history of the Stonewall riots, which are quite fascinating. The 1969 riots were quite an amazing thing in our history, and almost local, being in just over the border in New York. Anyway, what is it that you guys do exactly?
Well, first I want to thank you for having me tonight. I'm very excited to be here, and I congratulate you on a very groundbreaking and cutting-edge show.
Oh, thank you.
Very, very important, and I wish you the best with it. Well, my name is Rich Smalley. I've been with Stonewall Speakers. This is my 15th year.
Wow.
I've done several hundred speak-outs or speaking presentations around Connecticut, probably about 60% of the high schools in Connecticut I've spoken at one time or another. And currently, for the last 18 months, I've been on the board of directors for Stonewall Speakers. And we usually get a phone call from a high school guidance counselor, a teacher, a college professor, that will just say, we'd really like to educate our students, my class, usually a health class or something like that, just on GLBT issues. Mm-hmm. And would you be willing to come in? And so the person either makes the phone call, or they can contact us through our website, stonewallspeakers.org. And they fill out a very basic application and get the dates and times they want us. And then we have a coordinator that will try to schedule 3 if we possibly can, but it depends on the time frame we have. Mm-hmm. If we only have, say, a half hour or 40 minutes for a high school class, right, we probably only want to get 2 speakers in for something like that. But in the process, we schedule the speakers, and then we just have a panel of, there's 3 of us, and somebody talks a little bit at first. We'll have a lead speaker that will discuss how this all started. Why are we doing what we're doing? What is Stonewall Speakers, and so forth. And we'll give just a brief snapshot of our history. Then each person will have about 5 to 7 minutes to share their story, and basically what the coming out process has been for them. And then after that, I think the really rich part of the presentation is getting the questions.
Right.
Actually interacting with the people that are...
Love it.
Yeah. This is so familiar.
It's the most interesting part of any kind of panel or engagement, because you never know what you're going to get asked. That's the beauty of it.
Right. We've just sort of started doing something very similar. We're newbies at it now, but it's been that's been very rewarding.
Yeah,
it's very cathartic too, I think.
Oh yeah,
for a lot of us that haven't. I mean, I'm like an old hand at it at this point, but in the beginning it was pretty nerve-wracking. But then once I did it, I'd walk away with just a natural high.
Yeah.
That I just felt like a totally different person. I felt like I was really making a difference. And the reality is, we do have lower hate crime statistics in Connecticut than we do in most any other state.
Yeah.
And I think Stonewall is a part of that.
Yep.
I truly believe it. Because nobody's ever died from too much education.
Absolutely.
Hey, millions of
Absolutely.
people die from ignorance. So.
There's something very very powerful about having that personal contact with people too.
Yeah.
When you can sit there and you can talk to them, you can answer their questions.
Right.
And we've talked before about how you can't change the mind of the world, but you can educate
Yeah.
individuals.
Right.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. It really is. For us, we're part of the community, obviously.
Part of the rainbow.
But for us, this is something that we've noticed a lot of, is that we go talk to people, and people, even people that start out not liking us at all, once they realize that we're people, they sort of have to stop some of that hating. That you can see it. You can see the change.
The body language will change during the presentation because we humanize ourselves.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
exactly.
they sort of sit up and lean forward a little. They're paying attention all of a sudden.
They do, yes.
Or even better is when you see somebody asks a question, and as you're talking to them, going back and forth, you sort of see the light bulb moment go on, that little
Right.
aha moment, like, oh, I didn't realize that's what it meant.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. It's a good thing. Yeah, that's sort of what we started this group to do, was to try to, for a lot of reasons, but one of the big things we're trying to do is outreach and to try to get out there, and this is part of it.
This is part of it.
Just to try to let people know that we're here, and we're not, we're not the abominations that some people think we are.
We're not big, scary people.
So,
Absolutely, and again, the education is just so critical, and as we've stated very clearly, the difference that we can see all the time. And I've just feel very fortunate that Stonewall welcomed me in and to allow me to, just add my little piece of my story and continue on and do, really make changes and positive difference in people's lives.
Yeah. The first place that I ran into Stonewall was actually at True Colors.
Okay. Yep.
Which we've talked about on this program, is a sexual youth minority group, and they have a conference every year. And I've gone the last couple of years, and this year I saw Stonewall on the thing, and I read the description. I thought, I want to go to that. We had started doing discussion panels ourselves, and it's like, well, these folks have been doing it. Maybe I can learn something.
right. Yeah. We can pick your brain.
Absolutely.
And then it turns out that they're like, well, we're looking for speakers. If you're interested, we'll train you on how to do it as long as you commit to doing it. I'm in.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's how we get started. We have about we're between 60 and 80 volunteers, currently speakers, and probably, but like any good volunteer organization, there's always 8 or 10 that does the work for everybody else.
Yeah. So there's probably 25, 30 active speakers.
That's right. Yeah, we're the old workhorses, but a lot of it is like during work hours, and it's because it's a high school, because it's a college class, and very few people, unless you're retired, have the luxury of being home during the day and can meet that need. So that part is probably the most challenging for us to be able to book during those time frames. But I have to say, I don't know of a time that we haven't had to turn anybody down.
Right.
We've got somebody there to be able to meet the needs. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. It really is.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. And so for anybody that's out there, if they're interested in getting in touch with Stonewall because they want to schedule a speaking event, they can go to your website, stonewallspeakers.org.
Yes.
And send email to coordinator@stonewallspeakers.org to arrange a speaking event.
Right. And somebody will be back in touch with them within probably 48 hours. And we don't have any paid people. We're completely a total volunteer-run organization, probably like yourselves. And we know the pure grassroots of it.
Yeah.
Although we do accept donations, let me put that out there. Because every August we do a volunteer recognition. And I don't know, this past